All right, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to try to finish now Perek Zayin. We're holding in the middle we're holding by the paragraph Ach Mishu B'Zoyle Bossa V'Soy Yain. So let's understand again what we were discussing. We were talking about specifically things that fit into what we call the middle path, right? Which they're not asa, they're not muta. And the question is what you do with them. Your machshava makes all of the difference. How you do something. So we said if you eat good flesh, and it depends why you're doing it. If you're doing it for Einik Shabbos, Kovod Shabbos, then it goes to the good side. If you don't, it goes to the bad side. So now we're going to discuss some of the bad side things, and then some of the Issa things. Mi shehu b'zoyle basa v'soy yayin. Someone that stuffs his face with flesh and wine. The malis tayvas gufay v'nafshay ba'amis. Mamish to fill the taiva of the guf and the nefesh ba'amis. That's what he's doing. That's what person, next time at least know what you're holding, eating a good steak. And you know why you're eating that steak? At least say to yourself, I'm feeding the nefesh Bahamas. That's what you're doing. You're feeding the nefesh Bahamas. You're not doing it for Kovod Shabbos. You're not doing it to have koyach to learn. You're doing it because you're a boich. Shu bechinas yisoid hamayim. Ma'ar b'yisoidos haroyim. Sheba. Shemimenu midas hataiva. Now, what has happened is, where is this coming from? Where is the makor, the source, the shoyrish for this? It comes from the yesod of mayim, which is from the arba, the four yesodas that are bad, which is bringing the midah of taiva. If you remember all the way back in Perek Aleph, we explained that the nefesh Bahamis is the makor of all, the source of all of the bad midas. Now, all of the bad midas are split into four yesodas of the nefesh Bahamas. Water is one of them, and the makor for all taivas that you have in olam hazeh is mayim, is water. Hine, al yedei ze yored chayus habasa v'hayayin shebekirbai. The koyach, the energy that is in the flesh, the basa and the yayin, after eating it in this way, puts the koyach into these three tomei klipas. V'nichlal lefisha baragomo shebeshloisha klipas atmeis. And it goes into, at least for the moment, we'll see in a minute how we get it out of there, into this terrible and pure badness of the three klipas atmeis, which you said have no toiv b'chlal. V'gufay nasa lehem levush umerkova. Now your guf, your body becomes the clothing and the vehicle lefisha, to make them go there, ad asher yoshev adam, until when? Until you do tshuva. Until you basically repent and do tshuva from this eating, and go back to serving the Rabbi Shalom and his Torah. At the end of the day, the steak was a good hersha. The yayin was a great hersha. You weren't eating treif. You weren't eating something with a bad hersha. I thought it was kosher. Because it comes from a heta place, you just did the wrong thing with it, because you didn't have kavod of avodas Hashem and you ate it for your personal taiva. You put it into the bad klipas. But you can get it out of there because intrinsically it's actually kosher in that case. So since it was heta, it came from noiga, and therefore you just ate it in a bad way. Your machshava caused it to do that. Once you do tshuva, you lift it out of there. Shezeu lashon heta umuta kloima she'ena kosher ba'asa b'dei chitzonim, which is shelo yuchal lachsav la'alas l'Hashem. They can't get out of there. Rak shehorshimu mimenu nisha baguf. There's a negative force that, so to speak, made an imprint in your body. Va'al kein tzorech haguf lechibut hakeveh k'mo she'isbor lekaimon. Okay, and in Perek Ches, he discusses more about what chibut hakeva is. There's the Rashi in Sanhedrin Daf Mem Zayin base that talks about it. Chibut hakeva, just to give you a small idea, is where when a person leaves this world and he needs to have some kind of tikkun. So the malachim come. There are four malachim. They take either corner, so to speak, of your body, each hand, each leg, and they shake you. They shake the person in the keva. It's called chibut hakeva, and that comes from many things. One of them is eating things not in the right machshavas. V'chein hachayish b'tiba zeresh yotzu b'nei b'taivas b'hamish shaloi kiddush asma b'shas tashmish im ishtoi tahira. That means when a person is together with his wife and he doesn't have the right kavanas. If you remember, we discussed this all the way back once again in Perek Aleph, that Rizal discussed it in Parshas Bereshis, that when a person is together with his wife, which is mutter, it's 100% mutter to be together with your wife, but you're doing it for your own taivas, then the zera that comes out is going to the wrong side. It's going to the klipa side. But again, you're doing something that is intrinsically permitted, it's intrinsically mutter. Now he's going to move to the other side. Masha ein kain, which means until now, he's been discussing things that the makor is in noiga, that you're doing them, but lemaisa they're osa. Right? They've been mutter, sorry. Right now we're discussing things that are intrinsically osa, which means the makor of those things are in the gimel klipas tameas. Here we go. Masha ein kain b'maychus asurais. Tray food that is not kosher. Ubiyos asurais, someone that's together with someone that's not allowed to be. Sheim misholosh klipas hatmeos legamri. These come from the three klipas hatmeos completely. Heim asurim kshurim b'bnei chetzonim loylam. That's it. They're lost forever. They are completely tied in the hands of the Chitzonim forever. They know mishom ad. That means once the Geula comes, then we made a mavatl the klipa. Until that day comes, they're stuck never ever. Commercial Kosov, like it says in Zachari Vesurah Hatuma Avim and Oretz. That's why it's interesting. People say that the Rabbanshim create bad. The Rabbanshim didn't create bad bechlal, right? It's just that the Maisa, it's tied to the Ruach Hatuma. When the Rabbanshim removes the Ruach Hatuma, then it's no longer bad anymore. That's what he says. Another example. Ad sheyasa tshuva gedola. If a person does such tshuva, kol kach shezdoinois nasa loik is chuyois mamish, right? The Gemara in Yuma Daf Pevov tells us that when a person does tshuva in such a high madrega, mamish does tshuva in a crazy mahalach, every averi that he did becomes a mitzvah now. Unbelievable. All the averis that you did become a mitzvah. If you do tshuva, the Gemara says tshuva ma'ava. It's very high madrega. She tshuva ma'ava kedeliba comes from the depth of your heart. But ava rabba, from such a great ava of Hashem. V'chashika v'nefesh sheikeika ledovke bo yismach. You mamash had this desperate want to get close to Hashem, to be dovek, to cling to the Rabbeinu Shalom. V'tzoma nafshe la Hashem. When a person is thirsty, right, he's in the middle of a desert and he's so thirsty, he's parched. Gosh, I can't breathe, I need to drink something. He's desperate for water. That desperate is what we're talking about for the Rabbeinu Shalom. Right? That's what we mean, right? He's thirsty for Kedusha. Recognizing that right now your neshama has been in this like empty, barren sort of midbar, v'tzalmovasi, right? The feeling of this spiritual emptiness, right? You're reaching all the way down rock bottom, and it's even greater than the tzimon of the nefesh of the tzaddikim. Like the Gemara says in Brachas Lamadalet, but mokim shabbat tshuva oimdim tzaddikim grum aim oimdim. What does that mean? That means that these people are experiencing even greater intense desire than the tzaddikim, because the tzaddikim are always good. They never do averis. They're fine. But this guy over here that's done something wrong, we're talking about he's done something mamish wrong, he's got such an intensity to return back to the Rabbeinu Shalom that it's even greater than a tzaddik, because he has that desire that a tzaddik himself doesn't ever get to have, which is why he's explaining Pshat in the Gemara that how does that make sense? How does a Baal Tshuva stand in a place greater than a tzaddik? The answer is because the tzaddik is always doing good. A Baal Tshuva all of a sudden has got this desperate thing, this thirst to get clinging to Hashem, which a tzaddik doesn't have. When a person does such a tshuva, this Gemara in Yuma Peivav that we mentioned before, all of his averis become mitzvahs. Because they came with such great ava. If it doesn't come from such ava, I'm sorry, let's just get to the end of the perek. It's one big flow. It's good tshuva. And the Rabbeinu Shalom will forgive you. It's not going to make you averis to turn into mitzvahs. And all of these things that you did wrong that went to the klipa tameas are not going to come up. Until the Geula comes, then death is gone. When a person, when zera comes out of it, when he has zera levatala coming out of his gov, even though of course it's a maisa issa, and therefore it goes to the klipas atmeos because it's a maisa that's completely osa, right? The Sifrei Kabbalah, this is one of the worst averas ever. How is it? It can get out of there when a person does the right tshuva over kavana atzuma b'krishma al shalamita. By the way, the Rizal brings down that if a person wants to masakin for the avera of the zera levatala, what he should do is have real kavana in kriyishmal alamita. Umarumas b'gemara, it's a remnants in the Gemara in Brachas Daf Hey Kadakor kriyishmal alamita. He's holding a sword with two ends. Laharik Gufos Chitzonim Shanasa Lavush Chayas Chapatipois. Voilach Behem Kedua Liyodechain. Liyodechain means Chachmas Nista. Chain is a Rosh Tevis for Chachmas Nista. Meaning anyone that knows Chachmas Nista, anyone that knows the hidden Torahs, understands that Krish Manamita is a help and a tikkun for Zera Levatola. Vulachain, therefore, interesting he brings over here, like Huska of and Zera Levatola, but Torah. How come the Torah doesn't say you're not allowed to have Zera Levatola? There's no pasuk in the Torah that says you're not allowed to do that. We know it's also. We have a Shulchan Aruch that clearly says it very, very clearly, right? And over there's a Simach of Gimel. Siv Allah, the Shulchan Aruch says that it's also, and it's one of the worst areas in the Torah. That the Shulchan Aruch says very, very clearly. But the Torah doesn't say it. Why not? It's more, it's worse than Bias Asuras. V'godel avoinai. B'b'chinis hagadlus v'riba tuma v'klipa shemoni b'rabba ma'oid ma'oid. But so Zera Levatola yosum Bias Asuras. And the klipas and the things that come out when a person does Zera Levatola worse than Bias Asuras. What's the reason? So Zukdei explains the reason why it's not mentioned is Rakshiba Bias Asuras Moisiv Koyaf Achias Baklipa Tamea Biyosa Acheni Yochel Halas Masham Achias B'tshuva. When a person is together with a woman in a relationship that he shouldn't, in a physical relationship, in intimacy, where the woman is not allowed to be Bias Asuras, he's being Moisiv tremendous Koyach and Chias with the Koyach of the Klipa Tamea that it can never get up from there. Right? But tshuva, Elim Ken Yasa Tshuva Ma'avarab, until he does the greatest, highest madrega of Tshuva Mi'ava, Kol Kach, Ad Kedekach, Ad Shezdoinos Nasagoy Keschuyos. Masha'ein came by Zera Levatola, true. It creates tremendously bad things. And as I said, the Shulchan Aruch says it's one of the worst areas in the world. However, since it's not mixed with such a bad klipa, it's in a way easier to take out. Yuva, now we can understand the Gemara in Chagiga. What is it? Something that's bent that you can't sort of fix, you can't straighten. This is someone that is together with an erva, someone that is not allowed to be with, and they have a child, and their mamzer is born, and the reason is because a physical mamzer is in the world as a constant reminder of the issa that he did. Even if this guy does tshuva from what he shouldn't have done, it's too late. There's a mamzer that's come down to the world that in flesh and blood because of the relationship and the connection that you had with that woman. You can't get rid of it. It's over. It's not that way. So what we see over here is that few things. As a summary of this parak, when a person does an Aveira, he should not think, okay, I'll do tshuva and that's it. What he's done is he's actually produced tremendously bad, negative energies in the universe. We also see a difference between that which is osa and that which is mutter, and even that which is mutter, that the kavana, the machshava that a person has, makes a massive difference when in what he's doing, and will make a difference to everything else. Now, we finished Zayin, a bit of a break now, Baruch Hashem. We have a bit of a break until pretty much after Hanukkah. I think there's going to be shir until after Hanukkah. So Be'ez Hashem, after Hanukkah, we'll resume B'siyat Nishmayit with Perek Ches Shkayach.